Hello. For this, the fourth in our series of book reviews, we are going to review the All Natural Allergy Cookbook, which is said to be dairy-free and gluten-free by Jeanne Marie Martin. She is the last I know of. She lives in Vancouver, although she could probably be somewhere else by now. This is an interesting little book. As you can see, not too thick. It's not very big. It says that it's all dairy-free and gluten-free. However, we'll tackle that in a minute. It has a great table of contents, so it tells you, about the author, what you need to know about this book before getting started. It has, then it breaks down. It's a very good, easy to read table of contents. Nice, little bit about the author. Then what you need to know about this book, very short little section. Before you get started, read carefully. Good tips, basic tips about cooking and things, and how to read a recipe, always handy, especially for people who don't cook on a regular basis. Then she's got a great little section on kitchen and baking tips. Sorry, I'm trying something new. I don't know that this is working well, but anyway, she's got a whole section on kitchen and baking tips, which are really great. There's no pictures in this book whatsoever, so to be honest, you're never 100% sure what it is what it's supposed to look like when you're done making it. She does have a section on homemade flours that make 1 to 2 cups. She's got 1 to 2 cups of legumes, so brown or red lentil or split peas. I can't speak. It says sort it, remove any broken bits, put it in a blender or food processor. So you could do 2 cups of either of any of these, and it'll make about 2 to 3 cups of flour. Then she has a great section on how to make your own baking powder. So there's some really great sections, great little tips in this book. It's a small book. Baking powders, all of those sodium baking powders, add to recipe baking powder. I mean, as I say, great little itty-bitty tips. Now, then she starts talking about whole grains. Now, the front cover of this book does clearly say gluten-free, which is one of the reasons why we bought it. However, when looking through this, I would like to show you what's on page 87. She talks about natural buckwheat and pot barley. Well, the buckwheat might be gluten-free, but the pot barley certainly isn't. Kasha is just toasted buckwheat. Millet, definitely not glutinous at all. It's fabulously gluten-free. Quinoa is gluten-free. But the whole oats, some celiacs still have problems with oats, no matter if they're uncontaminated or not. Spelt is ancient wheat. It is still wheat. It still has gluten. Whole rye. She's got a whole little paragraph right here for whole rye. Rye is glutinous, like very, very much glutinous. So I'm a little confused. I was a little confused. The recipes in this book different, very different. It's so that you can get through with your allergies. As I said, no pictures whatsoever in this cookbook. So this is cornbread or corn muffins. It's basic. It's a very basic recipe. There are pictures like that, and that's right under the yeasted rye bread, it's still glutinous, no matter how much you try not for it to be. As I say, it's a great reference guide for how to make your own baking powders. It's great for information about allergies. The recipes are all, or supposed to be, all dairy-free and gluten-free. This has KAMUT. Now, my understanding is that KAMUT is wheat. So, I don't know, there's an asterisk next to that one. I'm trying to find, oh, instead of KAMUT, you could use oat flour. They have, it's still wheat. As I say, there's some things in here that you really have to look at the recipes. The date fluff frosting we did try to make once for somebody. There's the recipe for it right there. It's, well, as you can see right there, if I get it close enough, how's that? That is 1/3 to 2/3 of a cup of nut milk, 1/2 pound of pitted dates, 1/4 cup of honey, 3 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, and 3 teaspoons of real vanilla. And then 4 egg whites beaten stiff. It was different. Definitely different. Everything in this book is sugar-free, so she uses a lot of either honey or, well, pitted dates, because they do make a good, they do actually make a good sugar substitute. It totally changes whatever it is you're making. If you're trying to make a chocolate cake and you use dates, you're going to end up with one heavy, wet cake unless you alter the ingredients. But on the whole, as I said, it's good. These sections, they're okay. I get a little concerned when it says that it's gluten-free and it has gluten in it. But she also says in here she has a series of codes. So this is egg-free, gluten-free, and I think that's supposed to be yeast-free. I'm not 100% sure. But it is an all-natural allergy cookbook. You just have to know what you're allergic to, you know, so you have to know whether or not you can eat what it is that's in the recipe. As a reference guide, and for some neat little recipes that were kind of odd, we would give this 3 out of 5. For the fact, well, as I said, it says quite clearly gluten-free, and yet it has SPELT and KAMUT and rye, which are all gluten. But for the other bits of information in them, very good. So keep reading. Don't get too discouraged. And happy reading.